250 years of slavery, 100 years of Jim Crow, sharecropping, the Ku Klux Klan, lynchings, bombings, mass incarceration, the separation and destruction of the black family. All of that has had an effect on our mind. Our mind needs to be decolonized. We today are experiencing mental slavery, not physical slavery as once our ancestors had to endure. In my book, 7 Steps to Decolonize the Mind, we take you through every step to start releasing the chains that's on your mind. He or she who controls the mind control the person. It is in the vested interest of the white supremacist system to keep your mind bogged down in a mental slavery, throwing entertainment, throwing drugs, throwing alcohol, anything they can at you to keep you bogged down. You got to free yourself from mental slavery by purchasing our book, 7 Steps to Decolonize the Mind, today on Amazon. Make sure you share it with your family, share it with your friends. Everyone can benefit from decolonizing the mind, because once your mind is decolonized, you will never be put to sleep again.
Yes, family, welcome back to the African Diaspora News channel. My name is Richard Sudan and I appreciate you tuning in. Please remember to hook up to the website and to spread the word. Now, today is not really a news story per se, but this is a video I've wanted to make for some time. I've been mulling it over, and I think and I'm hoping we can maybe have an intelligent and informed conversation, maybe a teachable moment for some. Maybe we can all learn something from it. So I'll get right to it. This is not an easy or comfortable conversation, probably for a lot of us. But the topic for today's conversation is how black is black enough? How black is black enough? Now, before I get into the question, I want to just explain why I want to raise this topic today. We are dealing with a global system of white supremacy. The Anglo-American Empire is probably the most strongest purveyor of it, but obviously we see this system stretched out throughout countries that have been colonized. It's complicated. Even in some of those other countries that have been colonized, we see anti-black racism also sadly prevalent among those colonies too, and we even see different forms of anti-black prejudice of different levels, even among some black people. Some of my family come from the Caribbean, and the situation is complex. You know, in the same way you've got people in Brazil who don't even identify as black, although you have people that do. By the same measure, you have a complex ramification of slavery and racism all throughout the Caribbean. Now, I don't really feel the need to explain myself particularly, but I think in the spirit of provoking what I hope to be a thoughtful conversation, I'm going to explain a little bit about my family, and this will resonate with some of you. Now, on my mother's side of the family, as far as we know, all of my mother's side of the family are white. Now, on my father's side of the family, from both of my father's parents, we have a lineage of Indian Caribbean, Afro-Caribbean, and also European there, and also Portuguese among that. We have Afro-Guyanese and we have Indian. Now, you don't have to be a rocket science to look at me to understand that I've got European heritage in me, as well as other forms of heritage. Now, the comments on the videos I put out are nearly always supportive, and I've had nearly always supportive, but there's always one in sort of 50 that says, who is this Arab guy? Who is this Asian guy? Who is this white guy? Which is an interesting one, because never in my life have I viewed myself or identified as white. But it occurs to me that there are some among our people who have a very fixed notion of what blackness is. And this is a complex one indeed. Now, on the one hand, people like me who are very proud of all of their heritage, including their African heritage, we have a dichotomy or a conundrum, because people like me, if we don't embrace our black heritage, and we have black family members too, as well as our black history, we are complete sellouts, and that would be the right thing to describe us by. On the other hand, if we embrace our black roots and are very proud of it, and I mean black lineage, I don't just mean having black family members as I have, for example. I'm talking about actual through parents and grandparents and great-grandparents, African lineage. I actually think on the Guyanese side, through my dad's mum, I actually think, and we can't be sure, but I think given the time frame of the sort of colonialism in the Caribbean, I actually think that maybe 3 or 4 greats going back, I can probably, if I was able to, I think I'd probably have great-greats or great-great-greats that are from Africa. And, you know, I identify strongly with all of my heritage. It doesn't mean I deny my other heritage, but I embrace all of it. And if you're a person that believes in God or a God-fearing person, then, you know, you really believe that, or you should believe, God didn't make a mistake on any of his creations, any of his human beings. Now, I say that to say this. For some people, even if you embrace your black heritage, it's not black enough for some people. Now, someone like me, I have black family, black lineage, black politics, black family members. Even my surname literally means black. But for some people, and it's a fairly small minority, but for some people, that's not black enough. But the interesting thing here is I implore those people who think when you look at people like me or others like me, somehow, even though our politics, I would think, is on code, and you can challenge me, if you can dig up anything that I should be held accountable for, I'm willing to be challenged on it. But you won't find anything to pull me up on. I guarantee you that. I know exactly who I am, and I know my history. But for a lot of these people, I would say to you, for those of you that are saying black people or people with black heritage are not black enough for you, maybe go and do a genealogy or a DNA test. Go and check your own family roots. It costs about $100. And if your results come back, and if your results are anything less than 100% African, then guess what? That means you're mixed too. So what is blackness really? What is blackness really? My contention, and this is what I've been taught from my elders, is having black lineage, obviously, but also it's more than skin deep. It's an experience, it's your outlook, and it's your politics. So I would also say, and again, this is just my personal view, in much the same way as you have, now and again, you have white people that are on code, and actual proper real anti-racist activists. By that same token, you have plenty of black people that are complete sellouts politically. So this thing is a lot deeper than simply being skin deep. And the reason I think we need to have an honest conversation about this and really sometimes dig a bit deeper is because where this differentiation comes from, where you have some black people who identify as black but are not black enough for other black people, this thinking really goes back to the times of colonialism or slavery, the way of kind of being divided and viewing ourselves as different, when really we should all be thinking unified and really moving on code, you know, as people like our brother Tariq would say, or brother Phil, or many of our other esteemed allies and even elders. But the reason in my view this is really important is because we're seeing that regarding white supremacy is extremely unified. This is the crux of what I want to say. White supremacy is extremely unified. Okay, you have your white supremacists in the street. You have your white supremacists in the legal system. White supremacists in the police. Racism is evidence in every possible facet of life, and having a devastating impact on our people across Europe, in the United States, and across the Caribbean, you know? And so serious are the ramifications of racism that you even have the United Nations, which many would argue is actually an institution itself riddled with racism, arguably, in terms of in terms of the sort of policies and the things that have happened under the UN over the years. And even regarding that, you still have the United Nations calling out racism and institutional racism in all of the countries that were built from slavery. And the UN is calling out the countries in South America for their racist police forces. The UN is calling out racism in the United States with their racist police forces. It's calling out in the United Kingdom. Australasia, every corner of the planet where black people have gone, you're literally seeing this same wicked system having the effects it has. And it's having the effects it has, in my view, because actually, Babylon is gradually falling. This system is gradually falling. But like any system which is falling, you're going to have serious last-ditch attempts by those systems to hang on to power. You're going to see white supremacists in the streets killing people. You're going to see white supremacists in the police force killing people. You're going to see all sorts of white supremacist leaders elected to political office. And these are all symptoms of the system actually falling. Okay, it's like, for example, whatever you think about Obama, okay? And we're all critical of Barack Obama. But the reality is, the reason that Trump was elected was almost as a knee-jerk reaction for 8 years of a black man in office, regardless of what you think of Obama's policies. So again, I come back to the central question, the central theme of today. How black is black enough? Malcolm X was a very light-skinned black man whose mother could have passed for white, and his mother, actually like me, was of Guyanese, Afro-Guyanese descent. Many people in the Caribbean who are black also have some form of other lineage. And it's my contention, and this is just my opinion, okay? I'm not putting myself out there as somebody who's going to speak for anyone. I'm not speaking for anyone. I'm speaking my own thoughts. But I think if people are moving politically in the right way, if they're taking a stand in the right way, if they're basically moving on code, that should almost be all that matters. Now, of course, if you have imposters who are claiming to be something that they're not, that's a different thing entirely. If you have people that are not black or have no black lineage or do not identify as black or with their own black heritage and getting some sort of privileges and benefits from it, that's a different thing altogether. But it's my belief, and I'm imploring anyone watching this, everyone watching this really, to let's have this conversation in the chat, in the comments section, because we need all of the allies we can get right now. There's no time for us to be dividing ourselves up in sort of petty and trivial ways. It's kind of ridiculous. Are people really going to tell me this is just skin deep? Are you really going to tell me that Huey P is not black enough for you? That Malcolm X is not black enough for you? It's more than just your skin tone. It's your heritage and your experience and your politics and your ability to move on code and your ability to sacrifice because of your beliefs. If you believe what you say and you say what you believe, in my view. Now, as somebody again with Caribbean lineage, I'm well aware of the complexities around anti-black racism in the Caribbean in terms of shadism, colorism, people that are black not identifying as black, so on and so forth. But we need to make a clear distinction between the Candace Owens and the people who are also from the Caribbean and other places that have been colonized that do identify with their blackness and are moving to challenge and dismantle the global system of white supremacy using whatever tools they have at their disposal. There should be a certain way to deal with people that are moving off code, people that are clear traitors, and people that are clear allies. So again, that's the central question, the central point I wanted to bring today. How black is black enough? And there'll probably be somebody underneath this video. This guy could never speak for me. This guy is not black. Well, I'll tell you something. If having black lineage, black heritage makes you black, then I have nothing else to say. And for anyone that's going to challenge me or anyone who looks like me, who I would argue is saying the right thing and doing the right things, regarding challenging white supremacy, I challenge you to go and do a DNA test. And like I said, if your DNA test comes back as anything less than 100% African, then you need to check yourself. You're mixed as well. Mixed. I don't really believe in these terms mixed, to be honest with you. All of these ways of dividing ourselves were really created by the global system of colonialism. But my family is made up of black, brown and white people. We have people of African descent. We have European people in my family. We have Arabs in my family. My family is a very mixed and broad bunch. But we've also done our family history. We've done our genealogy and lineage tests. My own father is literally, I forget the percentage, but we can trace our West African roots back to Senegal. I'll probably never know, because of how the history has been taken from us, exactly where in West Africa my African ancestors came from, which I believe is no more than 3 greats back. I would love to know, but I'll probably never know. But I'm going to wrap it up there. But this is my humble opinion. My humble opinion I wanted to bring to you guys today. This is the time for unity. This is not the time to be dividing ourselves over stupid and trivial and petty things. Hold people accountable for their words. Hold people accountable for their actions. My political activism is an open book. You can see what I've been doing my whole political and sort of writing life, and my life in activism. Like Tupac Shakur said, peep the game and hold us accountable, by all means, by any means. But the time for division is over. The time for unity is now. This wicked system is falling, and mark my words, as this wicked system falls, it's going to take a lot more victims, a lot more fatalities, a lot more casualties with it. These people, this system is not going to go down without a fight. You've literally got the United Nations demanding reparations from these colonies. Do we really think this system is going to go down without a fight and without targeting more of us? And furthermore, do you really think the people upholding this system of white supremacy, do you really think they differentiate that much between a light-skinned person and a dark-skinned black person, and whether this person has a bit of Indian in them or a bit of whatever else it might be? Do you really think they differentiate? No, they do not. In the same way, during the times of slavery, if you had any black in you at all, you were considered black by them. So there's many reasons for us to move in unity, and to move sensibly and intelligently and move together. Because now more than ever, this unity is needed. I implore us to move collectively as a people now. For the sake of our kids, for the sake of our grandkids. One day, just like they'll be asking me, your kids will be asking you, like my kids will be asking me, Daddy, Mummy, what did you do? When the system of white supremacy was in its final stages, the Anglo-American Empire, and it was targeting all of these victims as all these political leaders were elected, and they were greasing the wheels for all of these white supremacists. What did you do in that time? Do you really want to be the one to say, well, I was busy differentiating between different shades of black people, different skin tones of black people? Or do you want to be able to say, I was forging links with other black people so we could build a strong, solid bulwark against this system? I know what the answer is for me. But anyway, I digress. Thank you very much for tuning in. I just wanted to provoke a conversation today. The spirit of this conversation was motivated by nothing but love. So yeah, let me know what you think about this topic in the comments. And I appreciate you tuning in. As always, my name is Richard Sudan. This is the African Diaspora News channel, and we will see you next time.
Are you tired of the violence, tired of the injustice, police brutality, rampant discrimination, lack of gun control in this failed bias socioeconomic experiment called America? Or maybe you need a break from the relentless grind and want to regain control of your destiny, your wealth, your health, and your purpose. DiversifiedGame.com has the right course for you. Prepare for my first trip to Africa. Looking to reconnect with your roots, start a new business, or just a fresh start. Africa, aka the motherland, is waiting. Don't let the Chinese and the Mzungus have the fun and also take over the motherland. From Cairo to Mombasa, from Dakar to Cape Town, Africa has something for everyone, from business opportunities to the most amazing people, safety, leisure, and landscapes. The opportunities abound. It is time for the diaspora to reconnect with their roots. Time to reconnect with the birthplace of humanity. Africa is the last frontier. Get your head in the game and reclaim your legacy. The writing is on the wall. Babylon is falling. Give up the stress, grind, and violence inflicted on our people on this continent and prepare for a journey of restoration enjoyed by connecting with the land of your ancestors. Check out our new course and kick off your adventure at diversifiedgame.com.
Hello, everyone. Please make sure you subscribe to the African Diaspora News Channel app on these platforms.